Hello, my gosh, my beautiful people. I'm so happy to be here today. Not happy about talking about this case, but hello, Tea Time True Crime with Katie, and I am Katie Brannon. If this is your first time here, well, hello, you are totally welcome to be here. I am a empathic person. I have a lot of feelings. I also feel certain cases being drawn to me. This is a safe space. I have beautiful white candles burning. I have loving protection crystals all around me. Every single podcast that I do not want to have any negative energy. I do not want to re-traumatize people. I just want to have awareness for these people who are no longer here. And this story, I cannot believe it is not more well known. I can't believe it. I went on YouTube and I saw a couple creators. I saw True Crime Revealed. She was awesome. She did so much information, so kudos for you. I watched her podcast, and then I think Demont something. She does true crime pods in kind of like a funny way, and they're like 6-minute videos. So yeah, you know, small time creators do their own thing, and I love it. So how I stumbled upon this case, I've heard of this case years ago, and then I started watching, lo and behold, Deadly Women. And I watched, you know, I'm binging a little bit, and then I come across this case, and it hit me so hard. I was like, okay, I got it. Because I didn't know what my next case was going to be, and then it just was like, do this one, do this one, do this one. And I didn't even tell the hubby about it, because I told him about another case I was going to do, and another one, and I got like shut down on both cases. I know, it's interesting, but you know what? If the universe says no, then no. You don't really argue with the universe. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about you, but no, do not want to do that. But yeah, I usually drink tea, but right now I just made some awesome pumpkin coffee. Oh yeah, that is magic right there. So this case, of course, is not for the faint of heart. My channel is not for children. I always tell children to have fun and be as innocent as long as you can, okay? Ignorance is bliss. All right, so if you are adults and perhaps, you know, maybe late teens, but yeah, maybe, then this channel might be for you, because I talk about true crime in a different kind of way. Even though I'm a podcaster, I definitely just podcast, and I really try to talk about the case that not many things are being, you know, told about, you know, said about this case. So this case is extremely gruesome, and this poor woman, Mekole, my God, she literally died for no reason. They took her life for no reason whatsoever. It was just so senseless and stupid. I'm gonna do this horrible, gruesome crime, and it's about the organization. Now, the organization has 3 people. You have Grace Davis, you have Clarence Jenkins, and you have Carmen Jenkins, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is talk about like kind of how it started and then what happened, but how this story starts with a lot of, if you hear about the story, is simply that there are body parts that wind up on someone's doorstep. Yes, when I say gruesome, you guys, I mean gruesome. So yes, warning, I'm going to be talking about adult situations, murder, just not happy things at all. But yeah, so let's sit back and relax, grab yourself a snack. I'm going to have one more sip of this coffee, and we're going to talk about a crime that like freaking dismantled Greenville, South Carolina of 2008. First, before we begin, this is one of those cases that I could not find their birthday. I know, I don't know why, because that totally helps me, because I'm like totally into astrology and crystals, if you haven't noticed. So I like to look at the birthdays to get into the personalities and stuff. So what I'm going to do is trying to describe these people that have been described by friends and family and loved ones. So already we're going to be talking about the brutal slaying of Mekole Harris. She was only 35 years old. 34 years old when her life was taken. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just jump back and forth. My podcast, you guys, sometimes it's not, beginning, middle, end. I have ADHD, so I just like skip sometimes. But you guys, let me know what you think about this case in the comments below. And yeah, so let's keep going. So Clarence and Carmen Jenkins are married, and they develop this organization. But they don't develop the organization until Grace Davis enters the picture. So we're going to rewind. We're back in April 2008 in Greenville, South Carolina. This is when the body of Mekole Harris was found. Now, her hand, her foot, toes, and a pool of blood was actually found in April 2008 on a relative's doorstep. Can you imagine going to your door and you see a black bag and you open the black bag and you see its human parts? Like, I just can't imagine that trauma right there. The person was named Subastic. Subastic actually contacts the police about the body parts that were just left on her doorstep. So yes, there are these body parts left on the doorstep, just not a good time, and they're wondering why are there body parts on the doorstep. So, like I said, Mekole Harris was 34 years old. She was very sweet. She was the youngest of 7 children. Mekole was actually very, very loving, and she was kind. She actually was called Mickey by her family. So even though her name was Mekole, they called her Mickey. So Mekole, there is some talk about her background. She was involved in addiction, drugs, prostitution. She was just down on her luck. But she still had a heart of gold. She had 4 children, but she did not have custody. And like I said, she fell into hardcore drug addiction. She lived on the streets off and on for quite some time. But when her life was brutally taken, she was actually on the verge of changing her life and getting back her children, which makes this story even more sad, that she was trying to change and she was getting her children back, because that's where her main loves were, her children. So the body parts that were found on the doorstep, they were identified because sadly the fingers had fingerprints on them, and she was identified in the system because she has been arrested before for prostitution, drugs. It didn't actually say, but it did say that she was in the system already. Now, Grace Davis, the first girl I mentioned of the organization, she was actually the reason for this bizarre murder. Yeah, I know, right? Keep up with me. It's wild, okay? So this was the letter that actually was placed with the body parts in the bag. Verbatim, I have the letter right here. Grace, this is your last warning. This is what happens to people who do not follow our instructions. Unlike them, you had protection and you left it. The next time this will be, and then insert Grace's son's name, because the police didn't want to put his name in, it's kind of blurred, because Grace's son is technically a minor. So they're basically threatening Grace's children. Don't forget, you have no way protecting them. End quote. Email us your answer at evans.john60@yahoo.com by April 9th, 2008. So that was only like 2 or 3 days for her to answer. Yeah, very, very bizarre. Like, you have body parts. It's really sad and disturbing. the police automatically ruled out that the person was still alive because they said the way the foot was cut and the fingers, if that would happen to someone who was alive, they would have bled out and died. So the police automatically feel that the person in the bag, which is Mekole, was already deceased, and they really wanted to find the rest of her. Now we're going to get to the organization. Now the organization was actually like a three-way marriage, a polyamorous relationship between three people, okay? And they took it very, very seriously. It actually had like cult-like behavior because they had ceremonies where they like, you know, shared each other, and there were menage a trois and all this. And yeah, and they worshipped Clarence. So I'm gonna get to that human garbage in just a moment. So organization is Grace Davis, Clarence Jenkins, Carmen Jenkins. So Grace Davis actually left her abusive husband Willie Davis and went to the church and tried to have some kind of solace in the church. Now, she didn't know that this couple, this married couple, was kind of freaky. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of freaky. All right. And, yeah, church-going people. So, Carmen actually grew up really well. She actually was going to college. She was very smart. She was raised in a great family. She was really involved in the church. So the family members of like the town that they heard about all this, they could not believe how Carmen was like so high, like, you know, had goals and dreams and everything, and just met this human garbage and just like went downhill, you know, like her life is gone now because, you know, yeah, because she's involved in this murder. So I'm just saying that Carmen was a goody two-shoes. Okay? Now she met Clarence through the church. Because like I said, Carmen was very much into God and church and doing better and like, you know, just very well with like religion and her faith. Okay? So she meets Clarence, and Clarence is a bad boy with like a sordid past, and she wants to, you know, she wants to nurture him. She wants to take care of him. Well, they end up falling in love, and he actually ends up taking her virginity, which is like a huge deal. He was her first sexual experience. So Carmen and Clarence, they got pregnant, and Clarence wanted to do right by Carmen and the baby, and they got married. So, you know, Carmen was 19 and Clarence was 23. So they're married, and they begin to have little kids, and they're very involved in the church. Now, Grace comes in the picture. She's down on hard times. I mean, if Grace never met this couple, Mekole would still be alive. I know. I know. It's so sad. So Grace is, she's down on her luck. She has little kids of her own, and she needs a place to stay. She needs help. So Clarence and Carmen take her in. And she thinks this couple is like God-fearing, you know, Christian couple, stuff like that. And, you know, I mean, they are. They're church people, but she didn't see this couple like this kind of way. Not yet. So the couple took in Grace to help her, and they became like a little family unit. You know, they both had little kids. They're both helping each other. When Carmen was, you know, at work, Grace was taking care of the kids, and so on. Seemed like a happy family. So, you know, Clarence is a bad boy, and his past has not gotten away from him. So he got arrested. It does not say what he did, but he only was in prison for this time 90 days. So I'm guessing maybe shoplifting, maybe drug charge. I don't know, it didn't really say. But Clarence was out of the picture for 90 days. So that means the ladies, they were by themselves taking care of the children, and they were consoling each other, and they were talking to each other, and pretty soon there was connection and they began a sexual relationship. And they were very happy. So, of course, you know, not everything lasts forever. So Clarence comes back from prison and he sees, I don't know if he caught him in the act or per se or something like that. I see different stories about that. He either caught him in the act, but anyway, he found out that they were involved romantically and sexually. And he was very surprised because he never saw Carmen with any like lesbian tendencies or anything like that. But, you know, that's cool, Clarence. So I feel like when women are in the house and you're taking care of kids and you're both attractive, things happen, you know? All right. So anyway, so Clarence comes back from prison and you would think he's pissed, right? He wasn't pissed. He was like, okay, well, I'm back. So this is the organization. We are going to all be together. So they became like a threesome, a menage a trois, but they wanted to make a marriage union. They like traded rings and they traded vows. It was a big thing, okay? So Clarence was of course like, yeah, okay, I'm getting into this, you know? So like I said, he wasn't mad. He was like, okay, well, I was gone for a while, so now you got to be with me, kind of thing. So yes, these women pledged their love. They pledged their love to Clarence and everything like that. And Clarence had like this big, charismatic, like cult-like energy. Okay, that's the best way to explain it. His background is that he had street smarts. Not smarts, but street smarts. And he was very cunning, persuasive, charismatic, not much of an education, but like I said, bad boy. In and out of prison, just, you know, someone that, I don't know. Like, I don't know how Carmen's family felt with her being with, or did he like Svengali the family? You know what I'm saying? We don't know. Because I would think if Carmen was such a amazing girl and a church-going girl and a good girl and a goody two-shoes, wouldn't her parents get involved? Like, yo, what are you doing with him? What are you doing with him? Like, he's bad news. But again, I couldn't find much about that, okay? So paradise is going on with these three, okay? Until Grace finds out that she can lose the children. That, I'll tell you in a moment why. I mean, there are a couple reasons why she could lose the kids. It could be because of this menage a trois, not traditional kind of relationship going on around the children. Or it could be they were living in absolute squalor, which I will definitely talk about that toward the end. So, but Grace decides she wants out of the union. Like, she's like, I want my kids. It was fun while it lasted, but I really need to take care of my children. Which is very respectable that any mother could do. It's just be like, this was fun, but my kids. So, okay, Clarence is furious. I mean, Clarence is so livid that she thinks that she can just leave the relationship anytime she wants. So evidently, poor Grace comes from like a really abusive first marriage with Willie. Okay, there was domestic abuse. That's what she claims. And then she goes with this psycho who is also controlling, abusive as well. But he doesn't show his colors until it's too late. So Clarence is really pissed that Grace wants to leave and that Grace wants to like be away from the organization. That's what he called them, is we are the organization. Okay, Clarence, all right. So Clarence was a part-time, he did part-time work in construction. So that's what he did for work. And he went to Labor Finders. Labor Finders is like a temp service, and it's actually where Clarence met Mekole, okay? Now, this is how they started. Some people say they met her on the street, but we got actual evidence that it was Labor Finders. Now, like I said, Labor Finders was a temp service to help people get jobs. So Mekole was there trying to get a job. All right, she's trying to turn her life around. Now, they, you know, when Clarence met Mekole, Clarence, you know, did his charm and was charming Mekole. Like, I'm like, dude, what does this guy have? Like, what the? So he starts charming her, and the person who was working there said they saw them making out and being like really friendly, okay? And they went to the bathroom together, and there may have been sex in the bathroom. Yeah, that's what people think might have went on, which is fine if you're consensual adults, and you know, I mean, okay. So that happened. Now afterwards, oh, piece of shit came out. Which is Clarence. Clarence got handcuffs, and he said that he was an undercover police officer. Mekole is like, what? Like, I mean, after you're getting cozy and you may have had sex in the bathroom or not, you kind of trust this guy, and then he goes and handcuffs you and says you are under arrest. I'm an undercover cop for drug use, and she's flipping out because she's like, oh, she's on drugs or has it near her. We don't know, but he was very, very believable to her because she left with him, and you know, she, like I said, he put her in handcuffs, and she's all upset. She goes, God dang it, I don't want to go to the police station. And then she is horribly surprised that they're not going to the police station, that they're actually going to a rundown trailer, and Mekole knows that, you know, Clarence was not who he said he was. All right, guys, this is really brutal. And Mekole, baby, I am so happy. I mean, like, so happy the bastards got what they deserved, but I am so sad that this happened to you. Like, this is so awful. You guys, this is nightmare fuel, okay? So Mekole is brought to the trailer, okay? And she is handcuffed, and she is tied to a chair. Now, Carmen and Clarence decide to actually murder Mekole in order to threaten Grace to come back to the organization. I know, right? So Clarence actually, you know, Mekole is scared to death. She's like tied to a chair. She has no idea where she's at. She is like scared for her life. So Clarence is like annoyed, and he goes and gets Carmen, his wife, and he was like, I need you to go kill Mekole. And of course, you know, Carmen does not want to kill her because she was like, I can't do this. Like, I literally cannot. So she tries. She gets a cord and starts wrapping it around Mekole's neck. Now, either she was so scared or she didn't have the strength, she could not kill Mekole. And Clarence, you know, gets really upset, and he threatens Carmen's life. Like, you gotta kill her, and all. I mean, this is according to Carmen. Like, Clarence just threatens her life, and Carmen tries, but she can't do it. So Clarence gets upset. Remember, Mekole is still tied to the chair, okay? She literally cannot get out. And he puts a plastic bag over her head, and she is suffocating, can't breathe, and then Clarence brings back the cord and strangles her to death while she's on the chair. Now, while this horrible act is happening, Mekole is screaming and crying and, like, you know, begging for her life. Like, it's so sad. But while this is happening, they have the phone actually recording her screams and leaving voice messages to Grace's mother and to Grace's aunt. Like, saying, this is your fault. This is your fault if she dies. If you come back, you know, you need to come back. If you don't, she dies. Truly awfully sad. I mean, like I said, Carmen tried to kill her first, but Mekole She fought for her life. But sadly, like I said, she was overpowered by human garbage Clarence. So she is deceased. Mekole is deceased at this time, and her life was cut very short, and it was just awful. Now, when she is deceased, the couple starts dismembering her, and they actually try to use knives, but they realize they cannot get through the bone and tissue with the knives, so they end up using garden and pruning shears. and they start typing the letters, as I read to you guys in the beginning of this podcast, and putting that with the dismembered body in the black bags. So the email, he thought he was smart, that he would, write this email in a public library, but he's not smart. He's not the toolest. I mean, he is a tool, but I'm saying, like, he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, because the public library had surveillance, okay? Had surveillance, and you have a timestamp, and you have an IP address. You going down, Clarence, okay? You going down. So the investigation, when the body was found of Mekole, and they fingerprint her, and they found her, and then they find out that Clarence was like the last one to see her, it's adding up. So the investigators actually go and visit the home of Clarence and Carmen. Now, the first time, she's saying, oh yeah, we will come down, we're busy right now, and then she wouldn't let them in, right? But the second time the investigators came back, they had a warrant, okay? Because Clarence had a spotty record. He had a sordid past. So the judge had no problem giving them a warrant to go through the trailer. And, yeah, they did find Clarence. Clarence was, like, hidden in, like, some kind of, like, a hole in the trailer. Yeah. It was awful. The investigators said they came to, like, the trailer was so disgusting. Like, I'm not saying, like, oh my god, you're a piece of crap, you're living in a trailer. I'm not saying that at all. I'm like, these guys, I mean, yeah, they literally lived in squalor, okay? I mean, I'm talking about mold on the saucepans and the dishes piled high. I'm talking about food and crap everywhere. I'm talking about bugs everywhere. Like, it's just, I cannot believe little kids live there. So when the investigators went to the home, okay, like I said, they're not smart, okay? They are not the sharpest tools in the shed, okay? There was still littered with forensic evidence in that trailer. There was still blood in the bathroom. Poor Mekole. There was her blood still in the bathroom where her body was dismembered. There also was blood on knives where they tried to, dismember the body. I mean, like, dang, no wonder Grace left. I mean, it could have been for the children. Yes, it really could have, but I don't want to live there. Like, who would want to live in some place like that? Like, that is just disgusting. Yeah, the investigators was immediately disgusted by, like, they couldn't even believe it. They were sick to their stomachs. It was just so gross. And, I mean, we're not even talking about clutter, guys. We're talking about bugs and just, bleh. Okay. So, you get it. So, yes. No wonder Grace left. Okay. And thank goodness the small children are not there anymore. So, now already they're brought to prison and they are flipping on each other, okay? So the first thing Clarence says is that it was all Carmen. Carmen did it. But thank God that Carmen kind of, she kind of spilled the beans first, especially when they put on the table, listen, if you tell us everything, we will take the death penalty off the table. And so when they did that, she sang like a bird. And then when that happened, like I said, Clarence accused her of killing Mekole and all that. But forensic evidence mostly showed that it is Carmen's story that was more correct. Now, Carmen even cooperated with the police completely. There was definitely remorse for Mekole's family. Clarence honestly thought that Mekole was never going to be missed or everybody would forget about her. So, hi, yes, even though I'm a small-time true crime person, I found you, Mekole, and I'm talking about you, baby, and nobody's going to forget about you, boo-boo, okay? I'm not, okay? Because you were just somebody down on your luck who went through things. Big deal. We all do. And you my God, your end of your life, Mekole, was just so awful. Like, I can't even imagine. Sending positive energy to Mekole's loved ones. I mean, her children miss her so much. It is so sad, you guys. Like, so sad. So, but Carmen did have a heart and told the police where the rest of Mekole's body was. And sadly, they did find her charred body, and it was taken and she was laid to rest. She had a proper burial with friends and family. Now, Carmen did not receive the death penalty, but they went a little easy on her. Apparently, it was 50 years in prison, but they dropped it now down to 40 years in prison. Now, Clarence, that son of a bitch, he ain't getting out. He got life in prison with no possibility of parole. And that, you guys, is the awful, awful story of the organization and how it was a threesome gone wrong and an innocent, amazing life was taken. If you have anyone there suffering from addiction or anything like that, I mean, please know that there is help. And I just feel so sorry for Mekole's family. And like I said, positive energy. It's just so, I just don't understand. No, there's not much about this case. Like, that's why I was looking at these podcasts, these YouTubers, and then deadly women, man. I think it was episode, I don't know the episode, but I think it was called Total Control or something, because Clarence had to have total control of these women, and these women were scared to death. And so you're like, what happened to Grace? Well, Grace, of course, is probably scarred for the rest of her life, but she is fine. The cops saw that she had nothing to do with this senseless murder and that these people were just delusional and crazy and deranged. So, but yeah, I'm sure Grace has a lot of guilt for Mekole's family, which I wish, I mean, sending positive energy as well. Yeah, that is just the awful story. Like, man, what is going on in Greenville, South Carolina? Damn. Thank you so much for listening or watching. I really appreciate you. Please know that you are loved and you are cherished. And also, I know I should do this in the beginning, but if you like or dig the vibe, like, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate it. I'm my own person here. I do my own research, editing, if, you know, yeah, sorry. I'm doing better without saying the you know. Yeah. I just don't know how else to end this, you know. I just really appreciate you guys. If you guys have any story suggestions below, definitely let me know. My email is teatimecb@yahoo.com. I really appreciate your comments and your kindness. And I'm a streamer now, so I stream on Tumblr Live, Kick-Catieqt, CATIEQ. I stream on Kick, KICK, same name, CATIEQT, and I stream on TikTok, P as in Paul, ALENSWEET. Thank you so much, you guys. Yeah, until next time, see you guys later. And remember, you are doing better than you think. Bye.